This is the reading of Everyday Use by Alice Walker in 3 parts, including an introduction. Alice Walker, 1944, was the eighth and youngest child of Willie Lee and Minnie Lou Grant Walker. Sharecroppers in Eatonton, Georgia, Walker did well in school, encouraged by her teachers and her mother, whose stories she loved as a walking history of our community. For 2 years, Walker attended Spelman College in Atlanta, the oldest college for black women in the United States. Then she studied at Sarah Lawrence College in New York, where she began her writing career by publishing a book of poetry, Once, 1968. Since that time, Walker has published several collections of poetry, novels, volumes of short stories, and Living by the Word, 1988, a book of essays. Her best-known novel, The Color Purple, in 1982, made her the first black woman to win the Pulitzer Prize. Some later books are The Temple of My Familiar, 1989, Possessing the Sweet Secret of Joy, 1992, Anything We Love Can Be Saved, A Writer's Activism, 1997, and Now is the Time to Open Your Heart, in 2004. Walker's works express her commitment to the idea of radical social change. She was active in the civil rights movement in Mississippi, where she met and married a civil rights lawyer from whom she separated after the birth of their daughter. In Confronting the Painful Struggle of Black People's History, Walker asserts that the creativity of black women, the extent to which they are permitted to express themselves, is a measure of the health of the entire American society. She calls herself a womanist, her term for a black feminist. In her definition, womanism is preferable to feminism because, as she has said, part of our tradition as black women is that we are universalists. Black children, yellow children, red children, brown children, and that is the black woman's normal day-to-day relationship. In my family alone, we are about 4 different colors. When a black woman looks at the world, it is so different. When I look at the people in Iran, they look like kinfolk. When I look at the people in Cuba, they look like my uncles and nieces. Walker credits many writers for influencing her prose style in her short fiction. Virginia Woolf, Zora Neale Hurston, and Gabriel Garcia Marquez seem to Walker to be like musicians at one with their cultures and their historical subconscious. Her 2 books of stories show a clear progression of themes. The Woman of In Love and Trouble in 1973, struggle against injustice almost in spite of themselves, as does the protagonist in Everyday Use. From that collection, the heroines of You Can't Keep a Good Woman Down in 1981 consciously challenge conventions. Walker has said, writing really helps you heal yourself. I think if you write long enough, you will be a healthy person. That is, if you write what you need to write, as opposed to what will make you money, or what will make you fame. Everyday Use was first published in Harper's Magazine in 1973. Related commentaries. Alice Walker, Zora Neale Hurston, A Cautionary Tale and a Partisan View, is on page 1613, by Cheryl B. Tornsey. Everyday Use, My Sojourn of Parchment Farm, is on page 1555, and I am reading from The Story and Its Writer, which is the 7th edition. I really can't see it very well. Oh, well. An Introduction to Short Fiction by Ann Charter. Everyday Use by Alice Walker. I will wait for her in the yard that Maggie and I made so clean and wavy yesterday afternoon. A yard like this one is more comfortable than most people know. It is not just a yard. It is like an extended living room, when the hard clay is swept clean as a floor and the fine sand around the edges lined with tiny, irregular grooves. Anyone can come and sit and look up into the elm trees and wait for the breezes that never come inside the house. Maggie will be nervous until after her sister goes. She will stand hopelessly in corners, homely and ashamed of the burn scars down her arms and legs, eyeing her sister with a mixture of envy and awe. She thinks her sister has held life always in the palm of her hand. That no is a word the world never learned to say to her. You've no doubt seen those TV shows where a child who has made it is confronted, as is the surprised by her own mother and father, tottering in weakly from backstage. A pleasant surprise, of course, what they would do if parent and child came on a show only to curse out and insult each other. On TV, mother and child embrace and smile into each other's faces. Sometimes the mother and father weep. The child wraps them in her arms and leans across the table to tell how she would not have made it without their help. I have seen these programs. Sometimes I dream a dream in which Dee and I suddenly are brought together on a TV program of this sort. Out of dark and soft-seated limousine, I am ushered into a bright room filled with many people. There I meet a smiling, gray, sporty man, like Johnny Carson, who shakes my hand and tells me what a fine girl I have. Then we are on stage, and Dee is embracing me with tears in her eyes. She pins on my dress a large orchid, even though she has told me once that she thinks orchids are tacky flowers. In real life, I am a large, big-boned woman with rough, man-working hands. In the winter, I wear flannel nightgowns to bed and overalls during the day. I can kill and clean a hog as mercilessly as a man. My fat keeps me hot in zero weather. I can work outside all day, breaking ice to get water for washing. I can eat pork liver cooked over the open fire minutes after it comes steaming from the hog. One winter I knocked a bull calf straight in the brain between the eyes with a sledgehammer and had the meat hung up to chill before nightfall. But of course all this does not show on television. I am the way my daughter would want me to be, 100 pounds lighter, my skin like an uncooked barley pancake. My hair glistens in the hot, bright light. Johnny Carson has much to do to keep up with my quick and witty tongue. But that is a mistake. I know even before I wake up. Whoever knew a Johnson with a quick tongue? Who can even imagine me looking a strange white man in the eye? It seems to me I have been talked to them almost with 1 foot raised in flight, with my head turned in whichever way is farthest from them. Dee, though, she would always look anyone in the eye. Hesitation was no part of her nature. This is the end of part 1.